Welcome to a presentation of the Solid Sports video blog. This is episode 164. Today's date is January 9th, 2021. Thank you for joining me this morning. Well, it'll be the afternoon by the time you get this blog. Thank you for joining me. Well, actually, I'm doing this for the second time. I had to take another take. I got an important phone call with work. That stuff happens sometimes. So even though you ain't gonna know this, but I apologize. That's why I was kind of flustered, because it's like I was like halfway through my blog and now I have to start another one, but it's okay. I appreciate the support that everybody gives to the channel. Happy New Year. That's the last time I'm gonna say that. Got a lot of stuff to talk about today. That's why it's gonna be so tough to run through all this stuff again. Major League Baseball news. Francisco Lindor to the Mets. I talk about that. The LA Angels scandal with the clubhouse attendant. I touch on that, and of course the sad passing of Tommy Lasorda. We'll talk about that today. NBA talk. I'll do my highs and lows. Teams I think is on the coming up. Things I think that is trending down. Ball versus ball, of course. Lonzo versus LaMelo. Wound up being a very entertaining game last night. I watched a few highlights. I didn't see the game. It was on national television. It was on ESPN last night. And Kyrie Irving, his issues so far. I touch on that. No new information about it though. He just said he needed. It's just a personal issue. So he didn't travel to team. Was on the road, so he won't be there for a few games. Kevin Durant supposed to come back. You know, he was in protocol. And NFL news off the field. You know, it's the big playoff weekend, Wildcard weekend. We got Philadelphia, the Eagles fall out. Of course, it's quiet down a little bit, but I'll talk about that. You know what happened last week with the game. Pretty much everybody thought they quit when they pulled Jalen Hurts for their third string quarterback. A lot of people had some very interesting opinions on that. Deshaun Watson, his issues with the Houston Texans. I did see that GM want to now have a meeting with him, but he was supposed to, the owner, the CEO was supposed to sit down with him, but he was supposed to have input on the GM hire. They hired another New England Patriot, which is a trend for them since they existed. They gone to coaches, GMs, and everything else with the Patriots, which logically you can't blame them, because you know the Patriots was winning for 20 years. You know, this first time they made the playoffs in 13 years. So maybe they wanted a little bit of the New England to rub off on them, but it hasn't worked. So Deshaun Watson don't like that, obviously. We'll talk about that, and of course we'll go through the games. Actually, less than 2 hours. I got to put together my DraftKings lineup. That's how I've been playing lately. Wildcard weekend, of course, we'll talk about all the games this weekend. You can check out my blog, previous blog, episode 163. I previewed the whole playoffs. I gave my predictions, my Super Bowl predictions. You can go and watch that when you get a chance. And college football playoff final is this Monday. And I just talk about, you know, what's going to come up on the channel and things of that nature. First, let's start with baseball. The Francisco Lindor trade to the Mets. A huge splash for the New York Mets as they try to make their mark. The new owner not playing around. It's like I said, I think it changes things in the East. As a Braves fan, I'm a little bit nervous because the Mets already have pitcher. Now they're trying to get their lineup. I think it's more of an offensive move, though. Francisco Lindor is all-around player. He can play out in the field as well as shortstop. Probably one of the best shortstops in baseball, period. The thing I want to see is, can he handle that New York pressure, which I think he can personally. But I think that'd be something to watch out for. Like if you go a couple of 4 games or go through a slump and the fans start jumping on him, will that take him down, or will he rise above it? I think he will. I don't think he will have any problem in New York. far as on the Indians, to look at it from the Indians side real quick, I think the Indians which is their name about to be changed, by the way. I think they is tearing it down. I think they're gonna try to rebuild. There's some teams up and coming. The White Sox. I think it's now about to maybe come and take this division away in the Central. Them and the Minnesota Twins. I think it's about to be those two teams battling now. I think Kansas City and Detroit still got some work to do. I think Cleveland might still be that solid third, because they still have talent there. But I think they're looking forward to just building a team from the ground up. We'll see what the name change be. There's no new information on that yet. But as far as the Mets, like I said, I already got a deep pitcher staff with Noah Syndergaard and Jacob deGrom, those two guys alone. And the Carrasco part of this, which I didn't bring up, the pitcher from the Indians, that's huge as well. He could probably be in the rotation, or he could probably come out the bullpen. So the Mets will be formidable. Like I said, this division is tough, even though my Braves, I still think it's the best team. The Washington Nationals will be back, and then it'll be a full season. Juan Soto will be back. Max Scherzer, they're in a little bit of trouble with the scandal. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. They a formidable team, just won the World Series in 2019, so their team ain't changed that much. The Miami Marlins, you've seen what they did last year, even though it was a 60-game season. They showed that they got something there, so I think they're going to be a problem. Philadelphia Phillies still got Harper and Ralamoto. I think that's how you say his name. I might be wrong. To catch that used to play for the Marlins. Andrew McCutchen. I think they pitching needs help. I think they got Jake Arrieta. They got some older guys. I think they need to get younger as far as pitching, but they're not a team to laugh at as well. And then you got the Mets still. So my Braves will have a tough time, but I think they still will win this division. And we'll have more predictions in a few months when baseball season gets started, which I'm guessing it's going to get started on time this year. I think COVID is sort of running rapid still, but I think with the vaccine, and I think you see it what basketball is doing, and everybody didn't think the NFL would get through their season, but they did. So we are good with that. So we'll see how that goes. As far as like I said, I think Lindor would be fine. But the Mets definitely not playing around. They compared it to the Yankees, so they got conservative. Like for them not to get Snell or Yu Darvish from the Cubs, they both went to the Padres. Yankees used to be the team to make the big moves, the big splashes, but they haven't done it. They've been sticking to their guns, sticking to their young guys. But the Yankees still gonna be formidable. Garrett Cole, they did get him. But like I said, he's in this scandal as well. That's coming up. But Luis Severino, maybe he'll be back. But the Yankees and the Mets trying to, get a little splash, So we'll see how these turn out. Can't wait till we get closer to baseball season. The LA Angels scandal, or the clubhouse attended. Basically, he's in court right now. He got fired from his job. I'm guessing he got fired a while back, because due to COVID and stuff, I don't think this all just happened. I think this was probably brewing for a while, I would imagine. But I skimmed through the article. Basically, he was going around making a substance for pitchers to put on their fingertips, to throw the ball, grip the ball, almost like a pie substance. I read the article. Troy Percival supposedly taught him how to do this. So he put his name out there. Of course, long time, probably beloved Angel. I would say he was on the World Series team in 2002. But I think this goes back to the 90s when this started. Like I said, Garrett Cole name was brought up. He got text messages actually of him. I read that part of the article. Max Scherzer. Justin Verlander, so they three big pitcher names right there. There's some more. If you want to go read the article yourself, but these are the three names that I've seen on the list. Verlander and Cole was just together in Houston. So that's kind of, that makes Houston, to me, if you want to look at them, Houston looks even worse. So it wasn't just them stealing signs. They was, gripping baseballs, using the pine tar to grip the baseballs as well. The pitcher staff was, well, at least those two guys were. They but they two top pitchers, obviously, and helped them get to the World Series. But like I said about the steroid era, I kind of brought it up when I went through my first take of the show. I mean, this is just it's a part of baseball. It's sad. I don't like it. I'm not saying cheating. I'm not saying cheating's okay, because if this is cheating, I think using steroids is cheating. But baseball, like I said, baseball got to be responsible as well. They know about all this stuff, and they decide to let it go because it's sort of good for the game, because steroids was making people hit more home runs, and now even today's game is still a lot of home runs being hit. It's more like swing for the fences or strike out. You can look at the numbers were steadily being that way. About me as a baseball fan, I like seeing good pitchers out there sometimes. I like seeing the pitcher dominate a game, a starting pitcher particularly dominate a game. So and the guys to the Angels knew about it for years, but I think they fired him over this. So I think he's suing the Angels. I believe that's what this court case is about. Because he lost his job. So, but he's blowing a lot of whistles here. So hopefully this thing sort of calms down. Hopefully this don't become a big deal. But it's getting momentum. Definitely getting momentum. So it's going to be interesting to see how this story turns out, but I hope it don't. I hope it kind of dies down. As a baseball fan myself, I don't know a lot of baseball fans, but this is one of baseball problems, all these little scandals, and it takes the integrity, basically it takes the integrity of the game. Like, as a casual fan, like, well, how real is it? How is it fixed? Once you start thinking about that stuff in professional sports, it turns you off. So, I know it turns me off if I think anything is fabricated. So and also baseball just always they focus on they loyal fans, which is good, but you gotta get new fans. Generations like this, the younger generation, don't care nothing about no baseball. Maybe baseball was relying on, I guess, us older fans to pass it down to the younger fans, but younger fans, there's so much other stuff out here. Especially with technology the way it is now, you're probably like baseball when you're 5, but by the time you turn 10, you're probably done with it, But I fell in love with baseball a long time ago. I remember the Joe Carter home run for the Toronto Blue Jays back in that World Series, the walk-off, I think it was 93 against the Phillies. That game, pretty much started making me like baseball. Like I said, I can remember football, my first Super Bowl, Bills and Redskins. I watched the football team, but they was the Redskins back then, obviously. That game, drew me into more football. And basketball, Michael Jordan, the 92 finals against the Blazers when he hit the 6 threes. Like, all these big moments helped me fall in love with sports. And then my father, that was our bonding time. So baseball, always means something to me. And on a sadder note, like I said, Tommy Lasorda passed away, a long-time Dodger manager and icon of baseball, period. Like I said, I already went through all this when I took my first take, so it's like my momentum is gone. But I thought about all of Los Angeles fans, period. Lakers fans and Dodgers fans are pretty much hand in hand if you know anything about sports. You lose Tommy Lasorda, but you won the World Series. You lost Kobe. It's been almost a year, and like I said, I can't believe that Kobe Bryant is gone. It's just still hard to believe that he's not here anymore. And his daughter and all the other people that died that day. I always like to try to say that because Kobe's going to be remembered obviously the most, but There was a lot of other people that lives changed forever. The Sunday of the Pro Bowl last year, I still remember. So we're almost a year on that. The Dodgers, LA fans been up and down, up and down. You won titles this year, 2 of them. The first time for the Dodgers since '88. The Lakers had a low throne as well since 2010. And you lose your arguably, for the Dodgers organization, definitely Tommy Lasorda, probably first guy you think about. And in LA, of course, the Lakers, they through history, but Kobe Bryant, to me, is right there with Magic. I would still give Magic an edge, because Magic, it's just something about Magic, you just can't. But Kobe's a clear second to Magic in that organization. Beloved Lakers, in my opinion. I'm not a Lakers fan, so some people might say Kobe, because Kobe, with this generation. But as a player, I put Kobe over Magic as a player. But as an icon for the Lakers organization, I still think Magic has a slight edge, but Kobe is definitely big in Los Angeles, as you saw throughout this year. Even though, like I said, I think coronavirus, because there's a lot of, like I said, we had a lot of celebrity deaths this 2020, and then 2021 is off to a, not off to a good start either. But I think a lot of people got sort of forgotten about a little bit because of coronavirus. So because a lot of other people are losing people, so that's understandable. But like I said, I didn't lose anybody this year. I lost my mother over a year ago, but I haven't lost anyone. My grandfather just passed away too, about a week ago. But I think everybody's dealing with death, so I think it's sort of not eased, because I think people still, like I said, I still think about Kobe, and and I'm not putting celebrities over normal people, because look at me, I'm just a normal guy talking on YouTube. So, but I just think how people are more celebrated for their deaths. Obviously celebrities, like I said, but I think once Corona got bad, I think he sort of got forgotten about. Sort of like I said, I always compare it to the singer Aaliyah's death, because she died 2 weeks before 9/11. And once 9/11 hit, she, people still, like I said, I'm sure people still think about it, but it just took it away a little bit. Even though, if you remember the show 106 & Park, her video was #1 for about a year and a half, probably longer than that. That my little cousins and my little sisters used to watch. I don't know if that still come on BET or not, but anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked, but I just said all that to say, it's a sad situation, and I think Los Angeles sports fans, it's up and down. Like, you feel good because you just won the World Series, like I said. The Lakers just won, but then you got to deal with your 2 biggest icons not being here. Lasorda got to see, hopefully got to see the Dodgers win, but of course Kobe wasn't around when the Lakers won back in October, which of course COVID pushed everything back, so just rest in peace, Tommy Lasorda. I remember him from the 90s as well. I think he was the manager for the '88 team. He went to 4 World Series, won 2. I want to say both for the 80s. I'm not 100% sure, but I know he won 2 World Series and lost 2. But I think he was the manager for the '88 team. So we're about to talk some NBA now. We're gonna move on from baseball. Let's do my segment, highs and lows. I usually, something I just sort of just made up. We're gonna look at the standings, and I pick up some teams I think it's on a high. Pick up some teams I think that is trending down low. Let's see here. Okay, just try to pull up the standings here. I guess let's talk about the Ball brothers first. Yeah, let's talk about the Ball brothers. I was gonna talk about that second. Let's talk about that first. Of course, everybody thought Mr. LeVar Ball was crazy, but LaMelo and Lonzo played against each other last night. I think they both didn't score that much. But I think LaMelo almost had a triple-double, as I'm trying to pull it up now as well. Of course, Lonzo starts for New Orleans. Okay, he had 10. Yeah, he was 1 assist shy. He had 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. Then you see that little step back three he had against Lonzo, the LaMelo ball. Lonzo, just 5 points. Two. Yeah, he didn't have a good game at all. They shot 1 of 7 from 3. I noticed he been taking more threes. Brandon Ingram had an off game. Zion had a nice game. And Gordon Hayward, quietly, he's been playing pretty well. Got the big contract. I think Charlotte, like I said, they'd be a competitive team. But I still don't think they got enough. I didn't pick them to make the playoffs. But the way Washington started off, it's still early in the season. You really can't tell how things gonna go. But I don't see Charlotte making it. But right now they 4-5, not too bad. New Orleans in the West, I don't think I picked them to make the playoffs either. The West is just too deep. So, but we'll see. Both of these teams have the talent, and they're young. So we'll see if they can maybe go on a little run. But let's go to the highs and lows. My high teams of the week. I'm gonna try to pick 3 and 3. I didn't really write it. I'll probably write it down next week. I kind of just going off the top of my head here. The Sixers, I picked the Sixers because they had the best record in the NBA. But they did just lose to Brooklyn the other night. I watched that game on TNT. Just didn't look sharp. But I do like how they play. I think they play a little bit like Ben Simmons and B could tell they trying to build a chemistry there. Focused on building the chemistry. I see they was doing a lot of pick and rolls. I like the way they played, but just Brooklyn, when they on all cylinders on offense, they a deep team. So people just say, well, just add Durant and Kyrie, and this is the best team in basketball. They capable of being the best team. But we're gonna talk about Kyrie in a second. But yeah, Durant, he's in a COVID protocol. Excuse me. He should be back though by the weekend, which is today. I think today or Monday they play a game Sunday. I think he'd be ready for that game. And Kyrie's not playing. But Brooklyn, they pretty much been up and down. And they even in the standings at 5-5 as well, which is ironic. But the Boston Celtics, there's be another team that been quietly playing good basketball. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, excuse me, been playing very good basketball. And they about to get Kemba Walker back. But they had some COVID issues. I think they was missing a bunch of forwards. I think they forwards was in the protocol. So, but they still been playing well. Orlando Magic and the New York Knicks as well. Two teams you didn't expect to be where they are. Orlando at 6-3, New York at 5-4. But Thibodeau, he gonna have them guys playing hard. So at the minimum, the Knicks gonna play hard every night. Now they might fizzle out just because they just don't have the talent, but they're gonna put it all on the floor because that's what Coach Tom Thibodeau demands. So I knew they was just on that they're gonna improve this year. Now I know if they're a playoff team, but they just want to improve. Cleveland Cavaliers, shout out to them as well, as they're still over 500 as well. The stay with the highs, the Lakers still been the Lakers sort of quietly. Haven't looked the greatest, but they win last night. They 7-3, is still top of the West right now. Phoenix as well. I put in the high category. I'm gonna say the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, maybe I was the prisoner of the moment. I watched Luka, and when they hitting on all cylinders, without Porzingis, but I think Porzingis sort of put them over the top. I think they need him back to really be a serious contender. But I like how Dallas looked. The Warriors as well. A lot of people count the Warriors out, so shout out to the Warriors. But I think that's it. Everybody else is pretty much where you thought they would be. Before I was on the lows, now like I said, I would pick the Minnesota Timberwolves, but I expected this from them. Like, it's not a surprise. I guess I only got two teams that I'm sort of disappointed in so far. The Washington Wizards, like I said, they haven't played well. I thought they would be better with Russell Westbrook. Bill had the 60-point game this week in a loss, so I thought the Wizards would be better off. And the Toronto Raptors, like, that's probably one of the biggest surprises so far this year. PL Siakam, like I said, I think it's overrated. Until he improves, I think he's overrated. I think he had that good playoff run when they won the title. Really, since then, to me, he hasn't played well, even through the COVID, through the bubble, and everything else. But even through this season, of course, I think he got benched as well. Well, he did. I talked about it last week. So the Raptors not off to a good start at all. I thought they'd be a contender. And like I said, it's still early in the season. This is only, 2 weeks in. And 2-6 is not the end of the world for the Raptors, but I just don't like how they look so far. They're the only two really lows I got, because out west, like I said, you could say Memphis as well, but Memphis don't have John Morant for a while. OKC, and Spurs, like all these teams, you expected them to do what they're doing. So they my only two lows for the week. But next week I really go deep into it and write the teams down next time. All right, we about to get to some NFL, but first, Kyrie Irving. Of course, I was watching on TNT. I don't know if it was last minute. And like I said, I played DraftKings. I had him on my DraftKings lineup, but he's pulled out the game now. I think something really is going on. I don't think this is just he want to take some time off. But then what happened this week in DC, which I'm not going to really talk about. I talked a lot about it, I think, on my NFL preview. So I'm not going to touch on that. Everybody know what that situation is. So I'm not going to touch on it. But the crew on the TNT crew, Charles Barkley, Shaq, and Kitty Smith, was saying, well, maybe he got, maybe that bothers him a lot. So and like I said, when it comes to mental health, I'm definitely not one to judge. I deal with mental health every day myself. And when you're not into something, you just don't want to do it. Like even with this, like sometimes I gotta build some positive momentum to come on here and talk. I'm not a camera person. I don't really like being on camera. I really don't like, despite me wanting to be a broadcaster, I still be out here very, very nervous when I come on here. But the only problem, I guess, with it was he didn't call Steve Nash, his coach, or the front office. I think he called his teammates and just said, look, I'm not going to make it. Such and such is going on, But, the narrative is really Kyrie and Kevin Durant is running the team, making all the decisions. Steve Nash is just a stand-in guy. But I think Steve Nash has done a great job so far with the Brooklyn Nets. But he had to go out there in the media and explain, basically, with no information. He don't know what's going on because he didn't talk to him yet because he didn't call him. So I think despite whatever's going on I think you got to do that. You got to tell your coach, let him know. But some of his teammates knew what sort of got, what's going on. But if anything come out, of the day or this story gets more momentum, I'll probably talk about it next week. But for now, he just needed to take a personal leave, and I just hope everything's all right with him. He did need to travel with the team, so I'm guessing it's something at least somewhat serious if you can't even travel with the team. So I wish him luck, but he has his quirky ways. I mean, he's a free thinker, so a lot of people take him the wrong way, but as far as basketball talent, there's no question. He's a talented basketball player, but he just had these little moments like this sometimes, and some people question, like even myself, like, do we really want to, like, how much do we really love basketball? Which is, is to me, it's a mild criticism because you can do what you want. Like, if you don't want to play basketball, well, you don't have to play basketball. And I'm not going to judge him on that. I just think you can't have one foot in and one foot out, which it seems like with him sometimes. I think that's the perception it comes from, well, his negative perspective. But when he's out there, he's one of the best in basketball, clearly. So hopefully that situation don't become as big as what it is either, and the Nets can just move on with their season. Okay, let's talk NFL. We're gonna first talk about some off the field stuff, and then we'll run through Wildcard weekend. Talk about all 6 games briefly. Like I said, if you want my full playoff preview, just watch episode 163, which I did on Thursday. For now that the NFL season is pretty much over, I'm just going to do Saturday blogs, because all they can really be to talk about is mostly basketball. But when, I still, of course, cover the playoffs, but the NFL season is in. There's no more Thursday night games. So I'm just, I'll probably start doing live blogs if a lot of stuff happens during the week, which I think I can't get an hour worth of content, and I'll go ahead and just go live. So next week's show could be a live show. Depends on how the week go. But before we get into the games, let's talk about some off the field things. Of course, last week the Eagles was in the news majority of this week due to the decision by a coach, Doug Peterson, for the Eagles, deciding to bench Jalen Hurts at the beginning of the fourth quarter for his third stringer, and then saying that it was he was trying to win the game, and it was a little mixed communication because the players didn't know he was going to do it, but Peterson supposedly told the NBC crew, because during the live color class they did say this was something that he was planning on doing, but I think he should have told the team first, and I think it made the teammates, because they was right there, they was close. It was a 3-point game. It was 17-14, I believe. Eagles still had a chance to win the game, and they pulled Hurts. Hurts wasn't playing that well, especially as throwing the football. I mean, he ran the ball real well. Also read option stuff and some broken play stuff. I think he ran both touchdowns in for the Eagles. So he still had him in a position to win, but once they went to the third string quarterback, it was pretty much over. Washington scored another field goal, and wound up clinching the division. So Giants was pissed, especially the coach. Coach Judge was pissed off. He said he would never do that. Basically Eagles cheated the game. They quit. Now that my first perception was that they quit too, but I watched the game live. I was like, what is they doing? Why are they going to, they still got a chance to win the game. And it's only a 3, which not saying it's not significant. They went from 9th in the draft if they'd have won the game to 6th because they lost. And the way this draft is, we're starting to look deeper and deeper every day. Maybe they got some eye on somebody. Maybe, I don't know if that was the thinking of, but but to think about it, had to be, because it was clearly not to win the game. Wasn't the reason why they did that. But me, my opinion on it is, you can do what you want to do. The Giants need to be quiet, honestly, because you went 6-10. They did win their game. That week 17, they won the game they needed to maybe get in. If Philadelphia would have won, they would have won the East, and they'd be playing the Buccaneers this weekend. But you're 6-10. You've had plenty of opportunities to win more games. You win one more game, it's not even a conversation. You already would have clinched the division, and the Redskins game wouldn't mean nothing. You could do what you want. You could arrest your people or whatever. But I think anytime you put your faith into what another team going to do, then you can't talk with so much. So I think they was just, some people was for what Judge said, but some people agree with him as well. They just figured out he was supposed to say that. You got to talk about what you did, what you didn't do, which I'm more on that side of it. The Giants, you got to win more games. It wouldn't have been an issue. You would have clinched the division a long time ago. So I think he knows that, but I think he's just He's a new coach. I think I'm looking at it as far as also like a competitive thing. Like, all right, we ain't going nowhere. We here to compete with you guys. So I think he just sort of rubbed them the wrong way a little bit. Let them know that we're here. We're going to have to get through us if we're going with it. Like next year, I think this division would be much better. I think the Giants would be improved. I think if Hurts improve, I think the Eagles would be a lot better. I think the Eagles need fix that roster though. Will they trade Wentz maybe to get some assets there? Maybe that's something they can do because Wentz pretty much went out. So maybe they'll do that. Dallas will be better next year with that comeback. They need to fix their defense though. The offense is fine. I think the offense is okay. I think the defense needs to be tweaked. And Washington, they offense need help. Alex Smith, he's great, but I think they do need to get a younger, more dynamic quarterback. The weapons are not bad around them, but they need some weapons as well. So Washington need to focus on offense. The defense is fine. Maybe the back end, you need, maybe you look at somebody. So this division to be better next year. Until then, I think the Giants just have to take it. You home, and that's just what it is. Deshaun Watson. A lot of drama going on in Houston right now. Of course, they fired Bill O'Brien in the middle of the season. But before the season, they traded DeAndre Hopkins away. So Watson, I'm not on Facebook or Twitter or any of the social media outlets, but you still can see what players tweet, in the news. He been tweeting some tweets, basically subtweeting, like his displeasure with the organization. But I did read something yesterday that the CEO want to sit down and talk to him, go over what their plans are in the future. They hired a GM, Patriots GM. So the perception out there is, that they're doing the same crap. They're not changing. They keep on, which I don't blame. I see the logic. The Patriots has been one of the most successful organizations in the last 20 years. Like I said, they missed the playoffs this year, but they was in the playoffs every year since 2008. And if you take that year out, they was in the playoffs every year after that. So, before that, since 2000. So, and part of it because of Tom Brady, obviously. But I think they just, hopefully they can get some of that success and rub it on this organization. But I think sometimes you just gotta think for yourself and go another route. So, so the CAFC here, he wants to sit down with Deshaun about the GM. I guess he's here to listen to him. Some other side news here. Let me stay on this topic. It's been some crazy scenarios out here. If Deshaun Watson would wind up leaving, and the one I like the best is San Francisco. Like, that'd be crazy. If San Francisco get Deshaun Watson, I had the 49ers in the Super Bowl next year. Like, that's how much I think that'd be a huge boost to the 49ers. But there's a couple of other teams thrown out there as well. But if I'm Houston, I probably want a couple of first rounders, a couple of players back. I would want a lot for him, because this guy, he basically had an MVP year, despite his team going 4-12. He had a monster year. Like, his numbers is up there with Mahomes and Rodgers, just slightly below theirs. So basically, it wasn't his fault. The defense, that Houston defense is terrible. He had to always outscore teams the whole season. And I think they need to get younger. I like J.J. Watt, but I think he's definitely past his prime. I'm not saying get rid of him, but you got to get younger on defense for sure. You can't just rely on him. He'll have a game here and there where he flashes, but I don't think he's consistent. Can't just do it. And it's not his fault. He's injury. He had a lot of injuries over the last few years as well. So I just think he need to be almost like a situational rusher. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what they need help with. But Deshaun, he signed a big contract. So a lot of people say, well, if you didn't like the organization, why you signed the contract? Why you ain't just become a free agent? But I don't blame him because, you got to get your money when you get your money. So, but it's a big contract, but I think he can be moved for the right price. So we'll see how that turns out. Or maybe he's just frustrated, he's the playoffs coming up, he's not there. Houston was a consistent playoff team, but they're not in it this year. But this division gonna get tougher. I was about to touch on a couple of other side notes. The All-Pro selections came out the other day. Kelsey and Donald are unanimous, which is not a surprise. And Urban Meyer looked like he's going to be the next coach of the Jags. They say he's assembling a staff. So if you're assembling a staff, I think you're highly considering this job, which is surprising to me. I didn't think Urban Meyer would want to ever do any NFL. But the Jags do have the first pick, so they most likely, like I said, they're going to take Lawrence. And Urban Meyer's smart. I watch him on Fox every week with the college football kickoff that they have every week. His X's and O's, I didn't know he was that sharp with his X's and O's. Of course, you never know how sharp a coach is. You don't get to see it, you just get to see it on the field. But the way he breaks down things, I'm like, okay, like that, like even terminology I never heard of before. So he's a smart guy. I just didn't think he wanted to coach, especially the NFL, because it's he left Ohio State more because his health, the stress. But in the Jaguars, I think it'd be expectations because it's him, but it's not going to be no real huge expectations. So maybe he will take that job, and maybe he could turn the Jaguars around. Jaguars got talent there, and then you get Lawrence. We'll see. They'd be. I think defensively they got to improve, but the Jags don't have. It's not like a dumpster fire there, so not a bad job to take. We'll see if he takes it, but I think if he's Simmons as a staff and he's meeting with him, I think the job pretty much his if he wants it. I'm assuming. And Dwayne Haskins, of course, former quarterback for the Washington football team, he will visit with the Carolina Panthers. Well, clearly will be a backup, but hopefully he can turn his career around. Of course, it didn't end well with him a couple of weeks ago when he got released. Alright, so let's get into the games now. Finally, let's get into these games this week. Of course, less than an hour from now, about an hour from now, Colts and Bills get us kicked off on Saturday afternoon, and then the final game of the weekend on Sunday night, Browns and Steelers. We're going to talk about all the games in between. But let's talk about the Colts and the Bills first. I got the Bills winning the game. I think the Bills are rolling. I think they continue to roll. I think they at least get to the AFC Championship game. You can check out, like I said, in my previous blog, I previewed the whole NFL weekend. So go check that out right now if you want to see my full predictions. But I'm just going to focus on the weekend's games. I think the Bills win and we'll move on. Colts, good season for them. Phillip Rivers didn't fall off the map, but I think they've just been too inconsistent lately. And guess what? Bills Mafia will be there in this game, so I think the Bills, I'd be shocked if the Colts win this game, but even though it could be a close contest though. The middle game today, Rams at Seahawks. Seahawks 3-point favorite. By the way, Buffalo is 6.5-point favorite in that game. I'm gonna go with Seattle here. This is more of me being stubborn. Like I said, Seattle's my Super Bowl pick to come out the NFC, so I definitely not gonna have them losing in the first round. Rams though, when I think about the Rams, like I said, I just don't believe in Jared Goff. He's most likely going to play now, but I don't think that makes a difference either way. Long as that Aaron Donald don't destroy the game, I think the Seahawks should be fine. I think they make enough plays. I think they win and they move on. Buccaneers at Washington football team. Buccaneers are 9-point favorite. I also see Washington competing in this game. I think they might be able to slow down Tom Brady here and there. Probably hit him a few times. I think all they have to do is make 1 or 2 big plays, and that'll be it. I don't see Washington scoring enough points. So with that being said, I don't see this upset happening. Some people got this upset. I don't see it happen. I'd be shocked if Washington win this game. I got Tampa winning. They might not cover the 9 points, but I think they definitely going to win this game with ease because Washington not going to be able to score. I like Chase Young. I like Martez. I like their front four, their front seven, period. It might cause some problems for Tampa, but I just think you had to do it all game. You had to wreck the game. Like, the defense would have to pretty much win this game outright. Like, take the ball away, score touchdowns on their own. Even if Alex Smith's play, he's definitely not healthy. And like I said, you're not going to be able to score any points. Even though Tampa defense ain't great, but it's not bad. I think they'll be able to slow Washington down enough. And I just think Tampa will win this game easily and move on. We move on to Sunday's games. Ravens at Titans. That's the first game at 105. I got the Ravens winning. Yes, this is another biased pick. I got the Ravens going to the Super Bowl. I had them in my preseason pick as well. Like I said, watch my other blogs. I give you all my predictions past this weekend. But I think this game for the Ravens is huge. I think this will get relieve this pressure. So I think it's going to be a tight game. Hopefully Derrick Henry can be contained, because I think we contain him. Even though Ryan Tannehill has played very, very well as well. I think I'd rather have the ball at Ryan Tannehill's hands than Derrick Henry's. I'd rather make Ryan Tannehill throw the ball. I think even last year, I think he only threw the ball like 10 times, 15 times in the Ravens game. I think it was all Derrick Henry. So they had to slow him down and make Tannehill beat you. And I think the Ravens were able to do a 3-point favorite. I was surprised that they favored in this game. I thought Tennessee would be, at least slightly, but the Ravens are 3-point favorites. So I guess they think the Ravens are going to carry this momentum into this game. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Titans win this game, though. Tough game. I think the Ravens get it done. I think they continue to roll on because the pressure will be off. Bears at Saints. I don't see the Saints losing this game. Drew Brees is probably almost back to almost, well, not normal, but Drew Brees, like Michael Thomas is back. I think Kamara is ready for this game. I know he was in the protocol. Well, he had coronavirus. I think he'll be back for this game. Not 100% sure. I think they will need him if he is. I think they're going to need him. Chicago, though, sort of backed into the playoffs, but it had an up and down year. Mitchell Trubisky overall has played well all this year. I mean, yeah, he's Mitchell Trubisky. He got limitations, but he's been winning games. I think his record over the season, I think he's like 6-2 or something like that. So Saints, you know, this is an interesting game, even though they got the biggest spread at 10 points. And the Saints defense has played very, very well. So maybe that's why they think the Bears have no shot. But I think this could be a close game. They played this year in overtime. And took it to overtime. Saints won. Ravens Titans, that also was an overtime rematch as well. Of course, the Rams and the Seahawks, they played this would be their third meeting. They split. And the Colts and Bills didn't play this year. But anyway, Saints, I just think they'll win this game. It might not be 10 points, but I think they will win and move on. But the Saints, you know, they got their playoff woes as well. So to me, past this round, I don't believe too much in them. But I think they do get it done and beat the Bears this weekend. And tomorrow night, Steelers at Browns. Now, I think this is probably the most lopsided. Well, I won't say lopsided, but I'd be more shocked if the Browns win this game. No coach, because Coach Stefanski has corona, so he won't be there. A couple of other coaches is not in there. Browns were dealing with COVID for the last couple of weeks. You know, they went into that Jets game with no receivers. So it's been like 2-3 weeks since they've been dealing with corona. So I'd be shocked if they win this game. But Steelers, though, like I said, have it look sharp. Hopefully, I think Big Ben getting that week off, I think that helps them as a veteran. I think that helps. I think the rest ain't going to be a factor. It's their offense, like they running game. They have no running game to speak of. James Conner haven't played well this year. They haven't found any running back to be consistent. So Pittsburgh throw those little 5-yard hitches and, you know, things of that nature. Teams starting to jump them and disrupt them. But the Browns defense has been playing bad. They just played last week. Browns won, but it was with, of course, Mason Rudolph, who was right there in the game. I think a missed 2-point conversion. The game probably would have went to overtime, you know. Unless Baker would have drove down the field to kick the field goal, but he drove, all they needed was to take time off the clock, and he got the first down. He ran for the first down and iced the game, and got them in the playoffs. But I'd be shocked that the Browns would just got. I think it's too much against them. I think Pittsburgh gets it done and moves on. So that's the wild card round. Of course, it starts in about an hour. I'm gonna get ready for that. I appreciate everybody for joining me today. Just a quick final thoughts here. Championship game on Monday, Alabama, Ohio State. The game is going to be played. It was a little bit speculation because Ohio State supposedly got some COVID issues as well, but they have traveled to Miami where the game will take place. It'll be Alabama and Ohio State for the national championship. I think Alabama wins. But I think it'll be an exciting game. If Justin Fields healthy, I guess that matters. If he's not, I think this could be a blowout. Alabama looks good. The receiver Smith, he won all the awards this week, which he's deserving of. He's outstanding. I actually watched him when they played Notre Dame. He was just sharp. I think he'd be. They said now he might rise up to the top 5 pick of the draft. So we'll see. But I think Alabama wins this game and becomes the national champions once again. As far as the channel, like I said, I had to do a second take today. So I was going to try to do a Cyberpunk video. Maybe I might do it tonight. But I was going to do it after I got off here. But now I'm running out of time. So I'm going to just go ahead and wait and do it. But that'll be the next video I do for sure. And I'm at the end of Marvel Spider-Man as well. So there are 2 projects that I'm trying to finish up. But I thank you guys so much for joining me. Like I said, now I'm going to do just Saturday shows. Next Saturday might be live. I put it out there somehow if I will do a live video or not. Depends on how the week goes. If it's a lot to cover, I'll probably go ahead and do a live show. I'm Troy West. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate all the support. And I'll talk to you guys soon, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And enjoy your week, enjoy the football, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you so much, and talk to you soon. Stay safe.